Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk about blue-black Dimir Midrange in Standard. We're going to start our Standard series now that we just finished up our Pioneer series. So we're going to talk about cards in the deck, the overall strategy of the deck, and basically how to play the deck. Let's do it. So this is a pretty stock Dimir midrange list. Now what this deck is basically attempting to do is remove your opponent's creatures with these black removal spells, attack with these really cheap, hard to block creatures, tap down creatures so that you can keep attacking, counterspell the important stuff, and then capitalize on these really cheap, sometimes flash creatures and being able to get blockers out of the way with Enduring Curiosity and Kaido. So let's go by mana costs and talk about these cards. So we're playing Dimir lands, obviously, with Restless Reef and Soulstone Sanctuary. Both of them are decent man lands. There's not a ton of synergy as far as like the mill thing with Restless Reef or anything, but they're just powerful man lands to continue that attacking because we're a tempo deck. Our cards are not super powerful, but we can be significantly more mana efficient. Playing Spygrass Siren is a 1 mana 1/1. When it enters, create a map token. So we can capitalize on the map, and when we return it to our hand with something like Kaido, then we can replay it and keep capitalizing on the map. It's hard to block, so it capitalizes on Enduring Curiosity as well. And then we have Cut Down, mostly for aggressive decks and kind of the mirror match to be able to take out those small creatures. Playing Fairy Mastermind, it's a 2 mana 2/1 with Flash Flying. Whenever opponent draws their second card, each turn you draw a card, and you can pay 4 mana to have each player draw a card. So obviously the ability capitalizes on itself, but this is also excellent against the Unholy Annex. Like it's so good against that. It's really good in the mirror match, you know, to counter Enduring Curiosity. It's even better in multiples because each individual Fairy Mastermind has its own trigger, and it's hard to block, and it has flash, so it plays at instant speed very well. Something else that has flash is Floodpit's Drowner, is a 2 mana 2/1 with flash and vigilance. When it enters, tap target creature and opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. And you can pay 2 mana and tap it and shuffle Floodpit's Drowner and target creature with a stun counter into their owner's libraries. So it is a way to deal with an opponent's creature. It costs 4 mana total, so that's pretty tough. It's a way to stop things from attacking so much, and it's a way to get things out of the way to continue to attack, and it has vigilance in and of itself. So it can attack and then also still activate the ability, which is very strong. And its main job is to get things out of the way, even if it's not evasive. Playing Spell Stutter, a 2 mana counter target spell, and this controller pays 2, plus an additional 1 for each fairy you control. And we only have 1 fairy in our deck and Fairy Mastermind. So it's kind of like a mana leak sometimes. Anoint with Affliction, exile target creature, mana value 3 or less, or if the corrupted thing doesn't matter, it's just a 3 or less thing. Just solid removal spell, especially something that doesn't trigger Heartfire Hero and whatever. Go for the Throat, just pretty unconditional removal. And then Shieldred's Edict is a way to cleanly deal with like Planeswalkers and whatnot. We're playing 1 Fabloom Trick as a 3 mana instant, create 2 1/1 blue fairy creature tokens with flying, which by the way combos with Spell Stutter. When you do, tap target creature and opponent controls, so you're able to tap things down so you keep attacking. Also creates these fairies to be able to have these evasive threats. Tishana's Tinebiter is a 3 mana 3/2 with flash, so it plays at instant speed really well, which this deck already wants to do. Counter up to 1 target activated or triggered ability. If the ability of an artifact, creature, or planeswalker is countered this way, that permanent lose all abilities for as long as Tishana's Tidebiter remains on the battlefield. So a great way to counter more things on the stack, just not necessarily spells. And again, plays at instant speed and is a good creature on its own. And then here are the 2 big payoffs, Enduring Curiosity and Kaido. Enduring Curiosity is a 4 mana 4/3 with flash. Again, flash, instant speed. Awesome. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. When Enduring Curiosity dies, if it was a creature, return to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's an enchantment. So this is really good alongside all these evasive threats and these things that get rid of blockers, whether they be removal spells or Floodpit's Drowner or Flavor Trick that tap things down. Evasiveness like Spygrass Siren and Fairy Mastermind. Hitting your opponent, even with really small creatures, allows you to draw more cards and be able to just have a fistful of either removal spells or more creatures to drive in more cards or blockers or things like that to interrupt what your opponent's doing is so good. And Enduring Curiosity is very hard to answer because one of the best block removals for the Enduring cards is Anoint with Affliction, doesn't hit Enduring Curiosity, and it'll come back and just be an enchantment that like Biden of Thassa. And then Kaido, which is a 4 mana planeswalker that starts at 4 loyalty, and it has ninjutsu, which means if there's an unblocked creature, you can return that creature to your hand, and Kaido enters tapped and attacking, and it has hexproof during your turn. And he's a 3/4 ninja. So you're able to do that, but that already combos with things. Already that's a pretty powerful thing. You can get him out on turn 3 by ninjutsuing Kaido, but also you can capitalize on these enter the battlefield effects again by returning Spygrass Siren. You can get another map when you replay it. You can get another Tishana's Tideminder trigger off of it. You can get another Flood Tishana trigger off of it. It is just very, very good. And then its abilities are very good as well. You know, the emblem and ninjas you control get +1/+1, which means it gives itself +1/+1. 0 Surveil 2, then draw a card for each opponent who lost life this turn, which kind of already happens because you're attacking so much and you have evasiveness and getting things out of the way like we've already talked about. And then it's -2 tap target creature, put 2 stun counters on it, which works with the strategy of the rest of the deck, especially good against Archfiend of the Dross because it means they're not killing you with Archfiend of the Dross, which means they might die to Archfiend of the Dross. So that's the overall strategy of the main deck. As far as the sideboard goes, we're playing 2 Negate to tackle these non-creature spells, another Tishana's Tidebinder for really scary things. I'm thinking like Atraxa and whatever. The 4th Cut Down to be able to deal with those aggro decks of small creatures. Duress for non-creature spells. Preacher of the Schism as a 4/of kind of changes the tone of the deck. It lets us be a little bit more mid-range where we need to be. And kind of it's almost like we shift into a mid-range deck if we know our primary strategy isn't going to work. 2 Shieldred the Apocalypse also helps with that mid-range transformational sideboard. Gix's Command, very good against these aggressive decks. And Ghost Vacuum is our graveyard hate. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, we are starting a big standard series. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.